Hi, I'm Kim Ingram. I'm the head of the Western North Carolina delegation to the General Conference and also serve on the conference staff in the role of the Director of Ministerial Services and the Conference Secretary. It has been and continues to be an honor to serve in this way. I'm humbled to be chosen by my colleagues and peers and grateful for the leadership opportunity that I've been given. I also feel privileged to represent the Western North Carolina Conference. Having grown up in a different conference, I love living and serving here. We have laity and clergy who are committed to Christ and to their communities. And I love the ways that we are when we are together to work and to share the love and grace of God with others. In addition to being the head of the delegation, Jennifer Davis and I also represent the conference on the Southeastern Jurisdiction Committee on the Episcopacy. In that role, we have sought input from throughout the conference as we've been part of conversations around the Episcopal assignments and the elections. Being part of the delegation has given me the opportunity to know and work with so many different people, laity and clergy, and to learn from them, not only in Western North Carolina, but across the denomination. The delegation leadership team includes Jennifer Davis, who is the first elected layperson, and Amy Coles, the delegation secretary. What we thought would be a journey for 1 year is turning into 3 so far. So in addition to learning about and discussing the things that we'll need to know related to the General Conference and the jurisdictional conference sessions, we've had time to dig into some challenging conversations, especially about equity and justice. They have really helped me to grow, and one of the other things I appreciate about being part of the delegation. I consider this just a bonus part of the extended time that we have to serve together. Now, as you probably know, the General Conference of 2020, for which we were elected, was scheduled to be held in May of 2020. But COVID hit in spring of that year, and it has been postponed now until late August, early September of 2022. At this point, we're planning for that General Conference to happen in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but we indeed don't know if it will actually happen. There are about 850 delegates who represent the denomination at this meeting, and some of those come from the Philippines and Europe and parts of Africa. At this point, we just don't know about vaccination availability, about the opportunity to travel internationally, or what will happen with the variants in the coming days. So while General Conference is scheduled to be a year from now, it's uncertain about whether that will actually happen. And if General Conference doesn't happen in 2022, no decision has been made about what happens then. It is the responsibility of the Commission on the General Conference meeting to make those decisions. Now, something else that keeps coming up in conversation is concerning the protocol. You may have heard of the Protocol of Reconciliation and Grace Through Separation, and it is on the agenda item for the next General Conference session when we meet. It was appropriately submitted and will be considered when the General Conference meets. Essentially, it is the separation agreement that would allow for another denomination to be formed. You might know that it was created jointly by persons who represent different parts of the connection around the world and different views on the spectrum of LGBTQ inclusion. It was written about 1.5 years ago. No one knows at this point what will happen to the protocol, as it's generally referenced, when it gets to the floor of the General Conference meeting. It will be available for consideration, for discussion, and amendments. But until there is the opportunity to have the conversation about the protocol at the General Conference meeting, nothing will happen related to it. What we do know is that the United Methodist Church exists now and into the future to make disciples who transform communities. We have churches who are sharing the love of Jesus with their neighbors, and we have a delegation who is committed to discernment and growth. Thank you for the opportunity to serve and the opportunity to share with you today. I'm available if you have any questions or if I can be of assistance.